Innovation happens to be a common term we all hear today. People at some point of a time or in some kind of a manner ask us to be innovative. So here we are to have a small discussion about some innovative learning strategies for modern pedagogy. Crossover learning happens to be the first topic which we are going to have a discussion on today. So what exactly is crossover learning? The students here are exposed to two environments. One is the classroom traditional environment and the other one is the outside learning environment. For instance, a trip to the museum or other field trips which your school or your college can engage for your students, and the after class clubs like English clubs or debate society in which the students participate. So what happens here is a situation that is discussed in the formal atmosphere of a classroom, where there is an explanation about what a situation is to the students. So when they go on this field trip and they visit a museum, the students are exposed to realities and they have a real and a vivid picture of what is happening. So after the field trip or the visit, they are brought back into the classroom where questions and discussions happen. So this kind of an individual sharing their experiences as individuals or with their teams or their peers happens to be a very good and innovative learning methodology where the student brings in his or her experience and shares it. This kind of a sharing usually lasts lifelong because the idea or the memory is stored in the long-term process. And learning is through experience. So when there is experience and the experience is given the benefit of a discussion in the traditional classroom, there is a lot of analysis that goes on and it benefits the students in the long run. Learning through argumentation. Learners can advance in their understanding of concepts when we teachers motivate and encourage them to argue. And this specifically is very beneficial as far as mathematics or scientific studies is concerned. For instance, even in my English classroom, I have encouraged my students to argue, to reason with one another, especially at moments where I have given them case studies. For instance, there was this particular scenario where I asked my students how they would overcome or the kind of possible solutions to an oil spill. So this was in a professional technical English classroom. So the kind of answers they gave from the biological terms to the scientific or the engineering kind of solutions that existed for oil spills was quite impressive. It wasn't just impressive, but the arguments built as the students started reasoning with one another. And the refutation was also very good. The intellectual content and sharing of knowledge was always encouraged during these kind of sessions, and we could understand how the peers sharing of knowledge and understanding could bring up more learning and influence the learners to go to the libraries as well and start exploring to gain specific knowledge. Incidental learning. Incidental learning happens to be unplanned or unintentional learning. This kind of learning is not restricted to the classroom. In fact, it does not even require a teacher. It happens through a process of time and without you even intending to learn a specific idea or acquire knowledge on specifications. It could happen while you are just checking out the YouTube or the news or even watching TV or just playing with apps on your mobile phone. You acquire knowledge in an unexpected way, in an unexpected scenario, just to satisfy that curiosity of yours. You begin learning and exploring a few things. So this is incidental learning. Context-based learning. So as far as context-based learning is concerned, there is always this one particular aspect where there is a focus. You know what you would want to acquire and how you would want to interpret and understand the concept based on the context of what you would like to learn. This, of course, is led most of the time by a teacher in a formal setting like a traditional classroom. So here, when you start exploring, if you are someone who is engaged in self-study or gaining knowledge by yourself without the support of a teacher, you would have to identify what you would want to learn or the knowledge you would want to acquire. Then you would visit the libraries and do a little bit of research based on the concept you want to know about. Probably I would say most of the learning that relates to researchers is context based. Embodied learning. Embodied learning is a process in which there is this interaction between the mind and the body. There is this response of the body to external environment that is set through activities or virtual simulation. So here the mind and the body have to be active. This could involve physical activities like movement from one corner to the other in the classroom or going out to the playground and playing and learning, and other activities like wearing the sensors, virtual reality sensors, and then playing your video game. So in accordance to what is being conveyed, there is this particular concept of the mind and body working together and combining together and being supportive of each other in the learning process as far as embodied learning is concerned. Adaptive teaching. As far as adaptive teaching is concerned, most of the time it involves teachers who have to teach or find themselves in a position to teach old material again to the students. For instance, as far as letter writing is concerned, I see that it is time and again repeated from class to class. So it's going to be formal letter writing or informal letter writing, and the students, they do it or they learn or acquire the knowledge of letter writing in the school. And of course, letter writing is again repetitive when they come to the college. So how exactly do you deal with it? Because students are going to be extremely bored and some even lost. So one way is to be innovative or teach it differently. I remember that I actually taught letter writing by collecting letters and asking the students to compare the manner in which the letters were written. So somewhere from native speakers and somewhere from non-native speakers. So the students had to analyze how the content was conveyed differently. So as far as this particular teaching or learning strategy is concerned, you would have to understand or improvise on the manner in which you are going to teach and convey old content in a new style. Self-assessment. is a kind of a strategy that goes around in the background while the students are engaged in a digital environment. So this could be exposed, or this could be a part where the students are playing games or working on crosswords or hangman kind of games, kind of an environment where the students are actually gaming and you are assessing them without their knowledge. So here, the manner in which the students set their goals, the strategies which they employ in order to win that particular game can be understood, and the knowledge level and the manner in which they set their goals, as well as the kind of results they obtain, can be collected as data from your system or the system the students are utilizing to play the game, and then you can assess their knowledge, the goal setting, the strategies and results of your students. There are a few more strategies which we could discuss in the next session.